Hello friends and welcome back to another episode of Strange. Today we ask the question, why are Tumblr ads so weird? If you're unfamiliar with Tumblr ads, it is my pleasure to break it to you that they are so weird. But first, a word from this video's sponsor, Helix Sleep. Helix makes premium mattresses suited to your unique needs. And his. Everyone's different, everyone sleeps differently, which is why Helix has their sleep quiz to match you to your perfect mattress based on your body type and your sleep preferences. If you sleep with a partner, you can take the quiz together and find something that's the perfect compromise for both of you. Based on my quiz results, Helix matched me with their Twilight Luxe mattress, which is their firmest mattress. I personally prefer a very firm mattress because of the scoliosis demons that possess my spine. It is very easy for me to mess up my day by sleeping wrong or sleeping on a bad surface. I've had this baby for about 2 years now. Oh my god, it's really been that long. I've had it for 2 whole years and I love it. I've been sleeping great, so has my girlfriend and our 2 beautiful binguses. To be honest, no one loves this mattress more than the binguses. The Helix lineup currently offers 20 unique mattresses, including their award-winning Luxe and ultra-premium Elite collections, the Helix Plus, a mattress designed for big and tall sleepers, as well as Helix Kids mattresses. You can personalize your mattress even more by adding the Glaciotex cooling cover, which helps keep you cool and comfortable while you sleep. And if it makes you nervous to buy a mattress online that you've never tried out in person, don't worry, because with Helix, you get a 100-night sleep trial. That's right, you can sleep on it for 100 nights before you decide if you really love it. There's also a 10-year warranty, financing options, and flexible payment plans. And the best part about all of this is that Helix delivers your mattress straight to your door, and shipping is free within the US. It comes rolled up in a box and then expands once you free it from its cardboard prison. It's super easy to set up yourself. Just make sure you read the instructions before you try it. I really like my Helix mattress, so if you're in the market for a new bed, go check them out. Right now is a particularly excellent time to do so because they've got their Labor Day sale on. You can get 25% off your order. Check out the Helix site for more details. That link will be in the description down below. And now I return you to your regularly scheduled content. My crazy ex-wife. After a divorce, my ex-wife messages me. Why? What do they have to gain? Cheapest flight tickets. Traveling is very essential in every aspect in human life. Are you going for business? Just WhatsApp us for your tickets. Oh, that sounds like a great plan. Discover the colorful double crest and aquatic behaviors of these majestic birds. Cake? Our new cakes! Bitcoin cap collection. Ooh, tempting. Fertility success. Stop gluttony. Exclusive drones. Experience peace. Join me in helping to spread uncomfortable conversations far and wide. 5D Ascension Art. Unlock your DNA with potential love and light reminders to elevate your spirit frequency. Shop now. And this is the picture. Can you make Draco Malfoy yours? Draco Malfoy walks out of an empty classroom. He is alone. Without Crabbe and Goyle, he looks very vulnerable. When Guest bumps into him in the hallway, Draco Malfoy looks startled for a moment, then blurts out a sharp comment, "Get out of the way, or you'll regret it." 50-pound commercial washer extractor, 200-gram force, 500-pound commercial washer, coin-operated, and hotel and hospital controller options. Jesus 2024 flag. Show your devotion with our Jesus 2024 flag. Powerful sanitizer. God's plan. Ultimate 4D massage. Cute, friendly, exotic pet deals. Fascinating companion. Affordable and unique monkeys, bearded dragons, geckos, and sugar gliders for sale. Secret DNA family revealed. The shocking new podcast about what happened when real people learned secrets they were never supposed to learn. McDonald's gift card. How to get a $100 McDonald's gift card. Protecting kids. Minimize and protect kids from divorce. Those unfamiliar pings. Sometimes I notice a feeling. An unfamiliar ping. Or I see a fleeting image in my mind's eye and I ask myself, does this belong to me? Never had a boyfriend? I'd like to meet you. Yes, this is genuine. Come in and read about my search. Boost your health. Discover the benefits of probiotics for a healthier life. Probiotic. Yeah, this is the best ad I've ever seen. Probiotic. Age-defying cream. Discover the power of wild yam root. Love is love. Support LGBTQ families, ensuring love and inclusivity for all children. Do you know what website you're on, sir? Encourage laying. Plastic eggs to encourage chickens to lay in one place. Heavier and solid 35 grams. Buy now. New danger. Ads for new danger on my dash? Your kids might be in danger. Pink, a new synthetic drug being used by teenagers. Educate them now. Explore the medieval enigma of the Codex Gigas and its notorious devil illustration. Tumblr ads are in fact so infamously weird that there is a whole Know Your Meme page dedicated to weird Tumblr ads. So these are probably some of the most famous ones that you've maybe seen circulate elsewhere online. Are you aware about this? You better not be. Laura, I was born into darkness just like a puppy, only my darkness is eternal. Love hot romances? What even is this a picture of? Cardiologist warns, throw out your probiotics now. My probiotics? But before I can explain what is going on here in the present day with Tumblr ads, we need to start at the beginning. As the Bible states, Daddy created Tumblr in 2007. David Karp was always opposed to the idea of putting ads on Tumblr, which I don't know what I could tell you that would better encapsulate why this man can no longer stomach working in tech. In 2013, Daddy sold us to Yahoo, which is much less fun than being sold by your parents to One Direction, let me tell you.
It was a good relationship at first. Yahoo was just like, yeah, do your own thing, get more users, make your ad revenue go up, do good, and Yahoo will just shovel us money.
What was the general culture of Tumblr like when you started working there? You said you started in 2015.
I started in 2015, right in the middle of the zero interest tech bubble, when everybody wanted to like make a social network. I don't want to say like all the startup culture, stereotypical things about startup culture are 100% accurate, but a lot of it was pretty accurate to Tumblr. It was this place that you went to and you did work, but the environment was made to be as fun as possible, and you just got like free alcohol. There were, ping pong tables everywhere. The office space was super cool. We used to like rent it out for events, or we would have like big parties there. Our Halloween parties would often get people just wandering in from the street and joining, and they got a little out of hand. A lot of us still hang out. Every once in a while we'll be reminiscing about it. We're like, yeah, there's never going to be a place like Tumblr again. Nothing comes close. Everybody there was a weirdo. Everybody there was just friends with each other. Like, it wasn't a high pressure startup where like that's another thing that usually comes with like when you think about startups is like, oh, you're working weekends. You're working like 60-hour weeks minimum, or like whatever. That wasn't the case. And I think that was because once they got bought by Yahoo, they were just swimming in money. Don't push anybody because we just hire more people,
And so like, what was the public perception of the site like at that point?
Yeah, it was like still considered kind of like that weird corner of the internet.
But back then it was like marketable, quirky, more so, right?
Right. It was definitely like pretty well embedded in like the cultural zeitgeist.
Under Yahoo ownership, we saw Tumblr running ads for the first time. But they were pretty different than the ads we see on Tumblr today. Big mainstream brands were advertising on Tumblr. And yes, in a way that felt catered specifically towards Tumblr in a bit of a hello fellow kids sort of way, but it wasn't this. At this point, they still had a pretty decent relationship with like mainstream brands and celebrities and like had not a terrible reputation as a social media site. So how did we get here?
I just want to go into this ads discussion with a caveat that I think that internet advertising is the root of all evil, and I fucking hate it. So everything that I say going on about how an ad was good or bad, it's within that framework.
Oh, yes.
But yeah, anyway, so the ads were just better quality. The reason why is because we had a sales team that was kind of dedicated to bringing advertisers on board to work with Tumblr and shape their ads to work with the platform. They actually went to a client, talked to them, explained to them like, what works and what doesn't on Tumblr. It was a very like cooperative effort to get that done. We had this program called Answer Time. Would you like to send some questions to the casts of Black Panther, or do you want to talk to the Walking Dead cast or something? You're like, it would usually be like a TV show or a movie, and the celebrities would come into the Tumblr office if they were in New York. Like when they did the Black Panther ask, like the whole cast just like walked by my desk. I'm like, oh, cool, that's them, I guess.
So those answer times were, I never thought about this before, but those were an ad basically for whatever movie or thing the celebrities were promoting.
So it's just a promo for something that's coming out. Yeah,
that's very true. So at this point, Tumblr was profitable? Question mark?
No, Tumblr was never profitable.
Okay.
Ever. It was on a trajectory to being profitable. In 2016, we were seeing that, we're approaching profitability. This might actually happen. This might not be a failed startup. So Tumblr was just killing it with the advertisers. Sales team, I was describing before, they were doing a great job. Ads team over at Yahoo took a look at their numbers. They're like, wow, you're doing a great job for Tumblr. We're going to do you a big favor, and we're going to just move you over to Yahoo so you can bring that energy to Yahoo and work for Yahoo specifically. And it resulted in basically a mass resignation. They left. Tumblr just suddenly lost its kick-ass sales team. because Yahoo got really greedy about it.
Yeah, so it sounds like a lot of the staff were, as people, not really that different from the average Tumblr user.
I would say easily like 90% of the staff there were working on Tumblr because they liked Tumblr. We really did care, and like a lot of the shitty bad decisions that had to go through anyways just came from Yahoo, or we had to make money.
The main theme that comes out of the Yahoo era of Tumblr for me is just their complete misunderstanding of what made Tumblr good. The higher-ups at Yahoo did not understand what people valued about Tumblr, and they didn't really care to. They just saw it as a potential resource that they owned to be exploited. You can see that in the various hated features they tried to introduce to promote more Yahoo products. You can see that in the way that they treated the sales team. And the loss of that sales team that very nearly made Tumblr profitable was a huge blow. But there was actually another massive hurdle that Tumblr was facing when it came to monetizing the site, and that was the fact that they allowed not safe for work content. As the terms of service once famously stated, go nuts, show nuts.
So anonymous brand comes into Tumblr to be schmoozed by the sales team. They're like in this meeting room, and all the meeting rooms in the Tumblr office, they had the glass walls. You could see what was going on in the meeting room, but you couldn't hear anything. They're schmoozing the potential client. Then they're kind of like talking about like how Tumblr works and like the tagging system. They're like, okay, this is what tags are. Like it works a little bit differently from hashtags on Twitter. They were also trying to be like, yeah, like, you know, Tumblr users post with like brand names. Let's go check out the posts that are under McDonald's, for example. They searched for the McDonald's hashtag and they were immediately blasted by Ronald McDonald porn. The advertisers were subjected to this, so it's like, yeah, Tumblr's a great place to advertise.
Oh, yes.
Their amazing search system.
Go nuts, show nuts.
You don't want to show ads next to porn. That is true across all of the internet. Advertisers don't want their ads next to porn. This is why sites have like content recognition systems on them, because they want to be able to identify porn. They can know not to serve ads next to porn. There was a lot of porn on Tumblr. Mood was kind of like, okay, we're getting a lot of porn. We have these kind of shitty systems that are okay at recognizing porn and not putting ads next to it, but they're not great. And they're like, this needs to be fixed. Like, we lost our momentum with the sales team gone. So we need to be able to serve better ads and make more money off our ads. So we need to clamp down on the porn. In December 2018, the Tumblr app got yanked from the App Store. This was because a user had reported that they saw CSAM, what we used to call child porn, but that's a shitty term because, like, that's gross to call it pornography. It's sexual abuse. In my opinion, Apple did the right thing there. And then it was like all hands on deck, like, fuck, like we need to get back on the App Store. We like cobbled together this half-baked, basically nudity detector and rolled it out the door as fast as possible, and we got it back on the App Store. We had to announce, like, okay, we can't have porn on Tumblr anymore. That resulted in, like, the mass public users leaving Tumblr, users getting really upset at Tumblr for very valid reasons. It was a really shitty time. It really, really sucked. It was like, we either do this, or Verizon is like, whatever, we'll just lay you all off, and goodbye, Tumblr.
Get rid of the porn or there is no more Tumblr.
That was the ultimatum we had. Well, first of all, we all wanted to have our jobs. And second of all, it's like, we still want Tumblr to be around. This sucks, but we just have to do it. And this is a question I get a lot. Is like, oh, why don't they just not have an iOS app and we can have as much porn as we want? The iOS app is the flavor of Tumblr that makes the most money. Ads served on iOS make the most money per impression.
The porn ban was a turning point that completely shifted the mood on Tumblr. It was like apocalyptic. And that's not because everyone on the site was like really into looking at Ronald McDonald butthole all day long. I have to explain why porn was valuable to the ecosystem of Tumblr using a Tumblr post that lives in my brain like a worm, because it's very well phrased. No, I do not have the actual post for you, but I'm paraphrasing this from a Tumblr post that I have read that I think phrased it really well. It said something along the lines of, posting cringe on this site is like going outside my house and firing gunshots to lower the neighborhood rent. Porn served that same purpose. It was the rent-lowering gunshots. Yes, there are also points to be made about how Tumblr was a source of queer sex ed for a lot of people. It was a hub for kink communities and alternative communities like furries. So yes, the porn helped to make Tumblr this place for weirdo communities and subcultures in the obvious way as well. But even for the non-sex freaks of the site, the furry porn was the rent-lowering gunshots that helped keep it weird for all of us. Tumblr was this secret place for weirdos, you know, even if the raciest thing you were posting was pictures of John and Sherlock holding hands. The fact that you could hypothetically see Ronald McDonald butthole at the click of a button. It just made Tumblr much more interesting and rebellious as a concept. So the porn ban was this huge cultural moment, this huge catalyst where Tumblr sacrificed this massive part of its identity in favor of the needs of advertisers. That was the turning point where Tumblr admitted that actually they desperately needed money, and we as the users realized that the site had never been ours, no matter how much it felt like it was ours, and no matter how much it had been deliberately branded as being for us. In 2019, Tumblr was bought by Automattic. Evil stepfather, photograph Matthew. There are two wolves inside of me. One says, don't poke the man who can delete the website, the only website that you enjoy being on. And the other just...
How much would you pay for that?
No one is hiding the fact that Automattic has inherited Tumblr at its most unprofitable. The number that Sriggs has put forth a number of times is that Tumblr costs about $50 million a year to run, and the number quoted by Photograph Matthew himself is that Tumblr loses 30 million of those dollars every year to the void. That's bad. There is nothing even close to a profit happening. And Automattic has been throwing everything at the wall, trying to figure out how to claw its way out of that hole for the past couple of years.
A lot of people don't understand the scale of Tumblr. It costs tens of millions of dollars a year. It's a lot of server hardware and like a lot of costs, and like also the cost of paying the engineers. These millions of lines of code just get added and rewritten and changed, and it's just this big monstrous machine that's like expensive to run. It probably has inefficiencies, but like it costs money to fix those inefficiencies. It was $50 million a year to run Tumblr. That sort of revenue could not come in from the Tumblr user base. A lot of people like to have this pie in the sky ideas like, oh, if everyone gave Tumblr $1, there's plenty of users, like they'll make so much money, and so people are just not going to give Tumblr $1.
And I mean, they kind of tried with the like ad-free subscription thing that they did, but from what I can tell, it was never popular.
I think it got a better response than they expected.
Okay.
But yeah, it's probably not enough to run Tumblr.
In February of 2022, one of the things that Automattic threw at the wall, in an attempt to see if they could make a little money, was the ad-free subscription model. It was $40 a year, which was doable for me. I thought it was a good idea, and I subscribed to it, and I promoted it as a decent way to support Tumblr if you want to. Then like a month ago, they changed the name from ad-free to Tumblr Premium, which is like a billion jillion times douchier. But as far as I know, the subscription model was never really that successful, and it's probably not gonna get any more successful now. So, as much as I find it like physically impossible not to make fun of Photograph Matthew, Automattic has a really, really hard job.
Automattic had good momentum to begin with when they were implementing things like ad-free and such. They had some good ideas that users wanted, and a lot of that was just ideas that we as Tumblr engineers and like staff and whatever wanted to implement were never given the green light. But they kind of just ran out of good ideas at this point, and I'm not sure exactly what direction they're going with it.
Unfortunately for them, a lot of the really passionate and knowledgeable staff who made Tumblr great in its heyday are like long gone at this point. And they keep cutting it. They just keep cutting more people. The entirety of Tumblr staff is apparently down to around 70 people now, which is what the fuck. But anyway.
It was last December. They just cut half of the staff. It was already like an anemic level of staff. The ratio of like the number of users versus the number of staff members trying to keep the website up at Tumblr is ridiculous compared to like somewhere like Facebook or something like that.
And it seems counterintuitive because you're saying these good ideas that were being implemented seem to be ideas from longtime staff members or staff members who are in tune with the user base, who care about making Tumblr good. How are we going to improve Tumblr by cutting the staff in half?
That's a good question.
I mean, they're trying to cut costs, obviously, but like there were people there who wanted so badly to make it good, and it sounds like almost none of those people are left.
I left for like a number of reasons. One of which was mostly I was fucking burned out from being an engineer. I don't think it would have mattered if it was like under Automattic or Verizon, or like if Tumblr was independent or whatever. It's just like the wind was taken out of my sails. I'm like, I don't want to work on Tumblr anymore. I think maybe I cared too much about it. It made me sad to see that it was getting worse. I was just not confident in the trajectory that they had planned.
So where do the Tumblr ads we have now come from? The answer is a few different places. The first one being Blaze. Most Tumblr users think we know what Blaze is at this point. Emphasis on think we know what Blaze is. It's this feature Tumblr introduced a couple of years ago where you can pay to sponsor a post and put it in front of more eyeballs. You exchange dollar amount for number of impressions, starting at around like $10 for 2,500 impressions. So it really is accessible to the average user. But Blaze is not just a Tumblr feature. You see, our current overlord, Automattic, is most well known for owning WordPress. When I became curious about why Tumblr ads are so weird, my first step in researching was to just click on them. Just click on them and see where they lead. And I found that a lot of the most confusing "why is this an ad" ones led back to WordPress blogs. This is because WordPress has Blaze as a feature, and WordPress's version of Blaze allows you to advertise not just on WordPress, but on WordPress and Tumblr. So Tumblr distinguishes Tumblr Blaze posts from ads. They're marked differently. Ads just say sponsored post, and Blaze posts on Tumblr say Blaze. But a lot of these ads, which are like designed indistinguishably from other ads, are WordPress Blaze posts. Automattic has also launched a feature called Blaze Pro, which allows you to put ads on Tumblr in a similar way, where it's dollar amount in exchange for impressions, and it starts with pretty low prices. Blaze Pro is specifically designed for brands who are not already on Tumblr making Tumblr posts to be able to advertise in that similar way. Theoretically. I don't know if I've seen any ads created through Blaze Pro in the wild. I know for certain I've seen WordPress Blaze posts. The second place that weird Tumblr ads come from are third-party ad servers. These are platforms which function as a middleman between advertisers and the websites they're advertising on.
You install this software library, and its purpose is to just funnel ads into the locations in the site or the app where you designate ad space to be. You're basically selling real estate. Wherever it is, whatever website it is, they all generally work the same. And it's like a third-party service sending you ads.
This way advertisers can easily create a standardized ad, run it across a ton of different websites, monitor their analytics all in one convenient place, and websites don't have to go through the hassle of making deals with individual advertisers. They just work with the ad server. It's a win for everyone except the users, but fuck the users, am I right? An example of a third-party ad server, which you are definitely familiar with, is Google AdSense. It's the biggest one, or one of the biggest ones, if not the biggest one. And the type of ads that it shows you blend pretty seamlessly into the background sludge of constant advertising that is our existence. They don't really stand out in any way. And Tumblr does work with Google AdSense, and Google puts a lot of ads on Tumblr that are just background sludge, not particularly notable. It also works with a lot of smaller third-party ad servers. And that is when the ads start to get weird.
There's the Google ad service, there's a Facebook ad service, and then there's like the Blorbo ad service, and then there's like the Chungus ad service, and like, whatever. But they're all different services, and they all serve different ads. And I don't want to call these like tiers. I guess it's like circles of hell. Like the least torturous circles of hell are like Google and Facebook ads. And then as you go deeper into hell, you get shittier ad services where maybe they're not vetting them that well. Maybe they're not vetting them at all. More effective ad services like Facebook and Google, they charge more to serve ads. Their cut out of the whole advertising transaction is larger, while the smaller ad services are taking a smaller cut. So therefore it's cheaper to advertise on the shitty ad services. And so if you're advertising something and you don't have a lot of money, or you want to spam a bunch of it everywhere, you use the cheaper ones. When these ads actually come to like be served to you, like say you're scrolling through the dashboard and you're just about to hit an ad space, there's a transaction that happens where the server's like, okay, here comes ad space. Who's willing to pay the most amount of money for it? In a fraction of a second, and this is all automated, like it's obviously not a real person behind it. All of the ad services will bid to fill that space, and the highest bidder gets to put the ad there. It's like a bidding war for your eyeballs, basically. So you want to serve the higher quality ads more because then you make more money. If those higher quality ads don't want to bother bidding on your space anymore, then it just falls back to a shittier and
So the longer you spend on Tumblr, arguably, the weirder the ads you will see.
The weirder the ads you see, the less money they're making.
Interesting. The next thing that I kind of want to ask about is the targeting of these ads. Like, why are we, and by we, I mean me and a handful of other queer 20-somethings I have collecting screenshots of weird Tumblr ads for me. Like, why are we getting ads for Jesus and industrial washing machines And I know in one of your posts you talked about getting ads of like weird feet pics and stuff. Like, how are these ads targeted?
Another good one that like the Tumblr staff would even like make fun of within the office were like the foot cream ones. Why are you getting those? It's because the advertiser doesn't know what the fuck you are, and they just have an ad and they won the bidding war and they show it to you. Tumblr doesn't collect a whole lot of information from its users. You just provided your email address, your age. That's it in terms of like user supplied information. Everything else had to be gleaned from browsing habits and stuff like that. And first of all, Tumblr didn't really collect a lot of that because very often turned out to be very fruitless. If you get a weird ad about like, you know, new tractor wheels for your John Deere and you live in an apartment in Queens, it's because someone paid enough money to put this tractor ad in front of you, but nobody knows who you are or like why you would need a tractor. It was just like, well, gotta make money. Here's your ad.
Interesting. So some of the ads that I get do feel very specifically targeted to like my area. Like I live in Toronto, so sometimes I get really specific like concerts in Toronto or like TTC updates and like things like that. So those are obviously very targeted, but then I'm also getting like tractor wheels.
As far as location specificity, that is an easier thing to kind of figure out. And they can figure out maybe like what neighborhood you're in. Location service is as accurate as like a trebuchet, you know, it's not gonna hit you. It's gonna take a lot of ads until they finally advertise, you know, the pizza place down your block. And you're just like, holy shit, they know where I am. And it's like, no, they just got lucky.
It's really funny you say that because that actually did happen to me once. Like sometimes I'll get these ads for like specific stores in Toronto. And usually they're not particularly close to me or anything, but I got one for a grocery store right around the corner from my house, and the ad was just, it basically looked like a Google Maps screenshot of like the exact block I live on with like an arrow pointing at the store, and I was like, what the fuck?
There are grocery stores in your area that want to talk to you.
Yeah. It was basically just like screenshot of where you live Tumblr ad, and I was like, I know they just got lucky. But I hate it.
You know, if you're not providing that information, internet ads don't know where you are. They just don't. But they just do know a lot about you. There's a lot that could be gleaned from like cross-site cookies, your browsing habits from those cookies, and try to figure out your interests and stuff like that.
One of the smaller ad servers that Tumblr works with is called Smart Ad Server. Great name, guys. So when you click on an ad that is shown to you by Smart Ad Server, it redirects you through the ad server to the source of the ad. You see the URL change really quickly from like smart ad server something to buy 4D massage chair, whatever it is you clicked on. Now, I was talking to one of my Discord moderators, Darlene, who also has an interest in getting to the bottom of weird Tumblr ads. She uses a VPN, which sort of blocks it from redirecting her to the final ad, so she just gets stuck on the smart ad server link. So she started inspecting them. Over time, the links just seem to be getting longer and longer, collecting more information from you and the Tumblr page you're coming from. First, it was just basic information about you. Then it started incorporating tags that you follow. Now it's like this long jumbled list of tags that seem to be ripped from your dash or the blog you were looking at when you clicked on the ad. What is that? Is that a form of them tracking you or collecting information about what you like?
Yeah, that's like one of the few things that they try to do as far as like sharing information with advertisers, but it's literally just like, okay, this is what you post about, so here you go, advertisers. It's not very effective on Tumblr, like I said, because Tumblr users either don't like to tag or they post about irrelevant shit. I can only provide so much explanation for that because I do the the client engineering stuff like that. The ad engineering stuff is a whole other ballpark.
So even when Tumblr tries to collect more information about its users, doesn't necessarily lead to better or more targeted advertising because, as I think was very well phrased, Tumblr users post about irrelevant shit. Even when we don't have porn to be the rent-lowering gunshots, we have whatever the fuck the Muppet Joker is doing, or the Portland Polycule, like, oh, what are you gonna do about it? Sell me Kermit plushies and brooms? The fact that most of Tumblr is anonymous users focused on really niche, unprofitable interests or creative endeavors is what makes it fun, and is also what makes it a very hostile environment for advertising. Although I will say, when I look at those ads, those early ads from like 2013 that were designed by a team who worked for Tumblr, I do think those ads are smart. I do notice that most of them are for popular movies and TV series and things like that. Tumblr has always, of course, been a huge hub for fandom, and fandom can be incredibly monetizable. I think if that team had stayed working at Tumblr and continued with that trajectory, we could be looking at Tumblr being a completely different website today. Maybe they never would have had to ban not safe for work content. And then maybe they wouldn't have to work with the shit ad servers who show us feet pics and probiotic. And then maybe we wouldn't have to deal with a new weird monetizing feature from Automattic every year. There's Blaze, and now there's WordPress Blaze, and there's Blaze Pro, and there's Post Plus, and there's ad free, and there's now it's Tumblr Premium. I almost fucking forgot about Tumblr Live. They only deleted Tumblr Live like 6 months ago, and it already feels like a mass hallucination. What? How, I mean, this is where my brain goes inevitably once we start having these conversations, but like, how long until they pull the plug, do you think?
I don't know. I remember standing in the elevator and like, it must have been like 2016, or just somebody commenting like, Tumblr's gonna be gone by next year. And it's still there.
Yeah.
Like the proverbial cockroach.
I feel like there was a point like around 2018, 2019, post-porn ban, where everyone was like, oh my god, Tumblr is failing, it's sinking ship, we're all gonna get deleted. But now that feeling is like, we've been living with that feeling for so many years that it's almost kind of commonplace. It's almost a false sense of security where we're like, oh, we're gonna survive like a cockroach forever, never mind. But that isn't true. That can't logically be true. Matt's gonna stamp on the cockroach eventually.
All good things come to an end, you know?
Yeah.
And Tumblr's days are numbered. I just don't know how long the calendar is.
What is the problem with social media these days? Like, why will social media sites never be what users want?
It's because of advertisers.
Yeah.
That's the short answer. Like, if your revenue comes in from somebody else who wants to dictate what's on your website cannot be what you want it to be.
Tumblr has advertisers, and it has weird advertisers, but in many ways it has resisted that norm, completely catering to advertisers and celebrities and mainstream culture, and it is dying because it has resisted that norm to a degree.
That's kind of it. Like, you know, it can't really make money. Advertisers just want you to buy Wendy's. They don't know how to advertise to you if you just got like this blog dedicated to talking about how much you love trains. I really wish that something like Tumblr had some sort of revenue stream that was going to be uninterrupted. It needs to be a patron, some really rich person, you know? They're just like paying to keep Tumblr around just because they like the vibe of Tumblr.
Oh, that's
and
the
then
dream.
They can say, oh yeah, I'm keeping Tumblr up, you know? Like, I'm sure there's billionaires out there that want to look cool. Yeah, that's the thing though. It can't be like someone like Elon Musk or whatever, where it's like, you know, they're going to come in and they'll be like, oh, I know what to do. They're just going to like vibe with Tumblr.
Yeah.
Grimes.
Oh, that would be the plot twist of the century.
It's like back in like the Renaissance when rich people like the Medicis would just commission like works of art and shit like that.
The Medici family still exists, you know? Maybe they will. Maybe they'll come and save us.
Yeah, there you go. If like the Medici family hear this, maybe inquire if Tumblr can be bought, you know?
Yeah.
Keep it running for the sake of like keeping the internet weird. It's still the largest, weirdest place to be at this point.
I will miss it when it is dead. I've spent over a decade of my own life on it at this point.
Same.
I didn't expect this video to end on such a sad note. I did not expect the answer to why are Tumblr ads so weird to be because everything you love is temporary. Do not suggest to me other platforms that I can jump to when Tumblr dies. When Tumblr gets deleted, I will be throwing my phone into Lake Ontario once and for all, and I will be putting all of the energy that I formerly put into posting into growing kale on my apartment balcony, and I will not be telling the internet about it because I will be covered in dirt and thriving as I want to be. What was I talking about?